Hello, good morning all of you. So I'm Devi, I'm from Hyderabad and then I work in SNC HRX format, and I don't know, this is the first time I'm holding the mic. I've just holded the medals and cups till now, and then right now I feel like mountains are much easier than speaking on the stage in front of you. But yeah, so I'm basically from Andhra, that is East Godavari. Kakinada is the place where I've born, and then I've born with what my mom says, I've born with very less immune system or the resistance. So doctor have suggested me to join me in sports or some physical activity, and so that's when I started skating when I was 4 years old. And then I think the first, before the school I started skating, and then we used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4 years, and then 4 o'clock was the very toughest part to work on. And then followed by school, and then followed by the practice again, and then getting back to studies and then sleep. This was the very much routine, and then this continued for almost like, even till now I think almost like 20 years, and then I still continue doing it. So what happens, I had very less friends, and then I hardly communicate with people, or I don't have anybody to share my emotions. And then when I was, after completing my +2, I've moved to Hyderabad for my further studies, and then I've continued to play sports. So because of the sports, my attendance level has gone down, and then so the JNTU have told me, okay, you were not eligible to write the exams. But by then my father has spent almost like 15 lakhs just for 3 years on my studies. That is too much for me, right, at that point of time. So after this news, I was flying to Delhi for my national games. I was just in the flight, and then looking at outside, we could see the highest point, like the clouds, everything. And then that's when I felt how wonderful it would be to stand on the highest point of the world or highest point of the continent and just look at down. The flight looks so beautiful, and then how about the mountains? And so after coming back to Hyderabad, I've told this to my father, okay, just want to go on one trek and then decide what to do, because the JNTU has already sent me out of the college. What should I do now? So he said, okay, yeah, like no father wants a daughter to suffer in the mountains or in that cold. And then somehow my mother convinced my father, and then that's when the first time I've gone to Mount Everest base camp. So we used to carry, it was almost for 14 days. And then yeah, these are the few pictures from the Mount Everest base camp. And then it was almost like -5 degrees and -4 degrees Celsius over there. And then we were carrying our own bags, which was almost like 20 kilos on our bag, and then we are climbing up. And then later, that was a successful summit that I have made for the first time. It was almost around 5,500 meters. This was in 2017. Then I've come back to Hyderabad, okay, and then I told I've made a few changes in my mind. I've come back to Hyderabad, I told my dad, okay, I'm not studying, this is not my thing. And then, okay. Yeah, it looks, I haven't completed my degree yet, maybe probably I'll soon do it somehow. And then, okay, but I think the support that they have given me is not that easy, because no father or no mother accepts you to quit your studies and then stay back at home. But that's when after coming back from the Nepal, after coming back from the Mount Everest, and then I've started learning few more things about the sports and fitness. Only that's when I knew there was so much career in fitness or something like that. Because coming from very small place, only thing that we know about studies is it's only doctor or engineer. You only have 2 options end of the day. But something I wanted to do beyond that, and then I started working in cult around 2018 August. Yeah, and then I've continued. And we had access to all the workouts. I started improving my stamina, I started improving my weight training and everything. So then later I've decided, okay, I have to do another summit, but it should be a complete peak in some other continent where I can hold our Indian flag. So that's when I've chose to go to Kilimanjaro, because Kilimanjaro I chose because it was one of the challenging, and it's very well known for its altitude. And so I've prepared, I was very much well prepared, and then it was a 7 days trek, just 7 days to complete 6,000 meters almost from the sea level. And then we started from the first day. To reach to the Kilimanjaro base camp, we take 4 different variations in the routes. So the first day we started in the rainforest, where it was all completely raining all throughout the 8 to 9 hours time. Even our raincoats or whatever we are wearing couldn't help us to stay little warmer. And we went out to the base, to the first camp, and then we rested over there like 6 to 7 hours, and then next day morning again we got up and we started walking more to the next second camp. So the second camp was to walk through the, I don't know what the route is called, but the trees are very much shorter than your height. And then we again took our bags, and then we are holding, walking. The only thing that we did was walking for so long in the higher altitude, increasing your altitudes up. And the second and third camp was much easier, but that's then after the 4 days of walking, we have reached to the base camp of the Mount Kilimanjaro. And then we reached the base camp around 5 o'clock in the evening, and then we just took rest for 4 to 5 hours. And then we started getting ready for the summit day, summit push, to finally climb up to the highest point of the African continent. So our plan was to reach on to the mountain, top point of the mountain for the sunrise to get the first view of it. So we started around 12 o'clock in the night. So it was so cold that it was so freezing, -6 degrees, -7 degrees, and then we couldn't even sleep because we have to complete the summit. So what we did, I almost put around 10 layers up on the upper body and then 3 layers on my lower body, and then carrying a backpack of almost of 10 kgs on my back. And then I continued to walk, and then after it's around 1 o'clock or something, I was falling asleep, walking. I told my guide, okay, I'll stop here, I'll take a 10 minutes or 20 minutes power nap and then go. He said, no, how can you do it? You are in an altitude of 5,000 meters. You hardly get an oxygen to breathe. How can you sleep? No. And then I think the drink that he gave me was Coke. I don't know why he given me Coke, but I've drank Coca-Cola and then continued to walk. And then the fourth part of the mountain have reached where the snowfall starts on falling there. And it's around 3 o'clock or something. There was a heavy snowfall. It was almost -10 degrees Celsius, and I could hardly feel my hands or hardly feel my foot. I couldn't even hold my trek pole. I couldn't feel it. So that's when I took rest, and then around 3 o'clock they were checking my oxygen level. What was the oxygen level of the body? It was almost fallen down to 60%. My body could only take 60% of the oxygen, and then this usually happens due to lack of water in your body. I think maybe that is why it's giving me a lot of drinks to drink. And then I rested just for 5 minutes over there, and then I continued to walk. That point of the time, I really didn't want to continue because oxygen is fallen down to 60%. What if it falls down to 50% after reaching 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the day? But that's the time when maybe that is called the summit push. If you stop whenever it is hard, you cannot be able to witness the highest beautiful things in the world up there. So we continue to walk. The plan was to complete the summit at 7 o'clock and look at the sunrise. But unfortunately, due to the weather, there's no sunrise. So I was thinking, okay, I was asking my guide, come here, where is it? Where is the sunrise? It's already 7 o'clock. He said, it'll be here, you just keep on walking. And it's already 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I couldn't still see the sunrise. Instead, the snowfall, and still the sun is setting down on the somewhere other side. So it's all because of the climate, we couldn't see it. But the 12 hours trek was told to us that it was a 6 hours, and then our minds were prepared only for 6 hours. And then we continued to walk for 12 hours. After reaching on to the top, it was really beautiful. You could hardly see things, but it was all completely the glacier. So this was the desert that we were all walking through. And these are the few pictures, and this is the house that we stayed in. So that was really nice. We could only see the cement buildings all over, but this was all made of wood. It was really nice. And then if you can see this picture on the top, so whenever you see this kind of trees or somewhere, that means there's water around your surroundings. So this tree doesn't shed its leaves. It always keeps its leaves with itself, and then that's how it stores its water. If you're not seeing these trees, that means there's no water around. And as we walk on, we couldn't see trees, that means no water. Only the snow was there. We have to fill up the snow in a container, heat it up and then put on some purifying drops and then have it as water. So this is the desert that we walked in through. We could hardly have anything on our heads to at least cover ourselves up. And then so this is the last day of this summit. So many people, we could hardly, just counting our steps, 1, 2, 3, and then when does the 12 hours or 6 of our trek goes on to complete. So this was the night trek on the top. There was no light, we were just wearing our headlamps. Okay. From the base of the mountain, there was one red light on the top which seems to be very close and you can just reach there in 1 hour. But the mountain is in this position almost like 90. So you have to completely walk in a zigzag way so that you will not slip off back and then work out. Okay. So this is onto the top of the mountain. Almost it's very much completely covered with the snow, and then so many layers I've been wearing and still freezing out all over there. And then the last one, this was the summit picture, and then it felt, thank you. So it was very nice. So I'm in some other continent and then you don't find, you were carrying your flag in your bag and then walking all the way just to fly it up on somewhere on the other continent. So I felt it really proud to hold the flag on my hands and then take a click of a picture and then come back. The hardest part of the trek has still continued. After reaching to the top, it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It always a 12 hours walk. And then just a 5 minutes break because we are at the height of 5,900 meters from the sea level. And then we need to walk down back, and walk down is not like taking a steps, but it's completely a sliding path that we need to do on. And to reach to the base camp, it took next 4 hours and 1 hour break, and we continue to walk down till the camp 2. And it's almost a 48 hours of walk without food and without sleep, because we were not allowed to have food because you will fall asleep if you are full with the food or something like that. That is why we were hardly given food. We were just staying on water and some sugars like the Coca-Cola, whatever I have told you. And these are the few pictures that when I took coming down. I think these are pretty much smiling because I know that it is the end of the trek. Okay, I'm going home now. And then so this is the down path. So as you could see, there are a lot of rocks. So the rainforest is completely filled up with rocks. So we walk in a very high pace so that we could reach our destination little faster. So when we are walking faster, we started hitting our shoes to the rocks almost. And the trek and the same route is almost for 15 to 10 kilometers. That is what my Apple phone says on the health one. They usually say it's 5 kilometers, but no. It is 15 to 10 kilometers. And my feet started, my thumbnails started bleeding. It's still not recovered. It's been 1.5 months. And it started bleeding because we are hitting the rocks and then continue. From the camp, base camp, there was a vehicle that you could go down, but taking a vehicle after completing 6,000 meters doesn't make sense. So we continue to walk down till the end. And so this is the group picture. It's just 8 of us are in the batch. There's a lot of hard work that other people have made for us. There were guides, there were cooks, and then there were porters who were working with us all throughout the day. And then they were carrying the food from the Tanzania, from the bottom of the city to all the 7 days of the trek. Okay, so this part has been one of the toughest and challenging one till now, and that's all. And one thing I would say to all the people listening over here is, okay, if you have decided to do something, continue to do it. Just because somebody is stopping you, do not stop. Because even there, if I have stopped telling that, okay, my heart rate has gone down or my oxygen level has gone down, I wouldn't be here speaking with you all. I wouldn't be holding the flag in my hands and then standing onto the screen over there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. Can we hear it from her?
Thank you.
I don't know about you, but if I was hungry and dehydrated, I would not be this happy. Any questions for her? I know I have a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
So that was super inspirational, and I just wanted to ask you, what are your top 3 goals in life right now? Like, I know you want to climb the tallest peak in every continent, but apart from that, what other goals do you have at the moment?
So I always have the regret in my life. So I've been doing something for myself and I've been doing something for the country. But why does the JNTU have to take me out of the college just telling that my percentage is less in the attendance? So but instead I'm giving you something else in back. You could consider it. So probably I would end up continuing in the same college, somehow fight or what. I'll stay there, okay, give me degree, only then I'll give you back something. That's the first thing, and then the second one is to complete the all 7 peaks, and then that's the one of the toughest because the fundraising is one of the toughest one. It's costing around $1 lakh to complete all the 7 summits. And then now after this 15 lakhs, I don't want to ask my dad, of course. And the last one is the skating has been with me from very past 22 years almost, and now I would like to represent Asian Games. So yes.
So how do you train to actually be fit to climb?
So the first thing that you need to concentrate is of you should make your mind and body ready that you need to carry a 20 kg backpack on your back. So that needs a lot of weight training, and the second thing is your heart should be ready to accept a 60% of oxygen or 50% of oxygen level. So to get that ready, you need to run a lot, and even when you're running, you need to wear a mask or something like that where the less oxygen is provided to your mouth or your nose something, so that it can improve better and better with your heart rate and the oxygen levels on the tongue. Yes, yes. So this part of training was there from very long time for skating, everything, because I worked on a lot of endurance level. So that was not a problem. Only the temperature staying in India, and then the south part of India is almost 40-50 degrees throughout almost like 6 months, and then dropped down maximum to 30 or 20. But Kilimanjaro was around -5 to -10. There were so many people out there from different countries. They were just wearing 2 layers of jacket and then walking onto the summit. I was almost covered with, you could hardly see me. I was wearing so many layers, and bag was 10 kg and I'm more loaded with clothes. That was one of the toughest part.